Okay, good evening, friends. I do believe we're live. I'm just going to give it 10 seconds just to go live on my other screen so I know we're live. While we're waiting, how are we doing this evening? It's wonderful to see you here. Yeah, here we go. I can see myself, which is great. Don't forget, give me a heads up. Let me know you're here tonight. Sunday night in the shadows with me, the professor. And we're going to be going over all of the videos or stories that I've done this week and what we have in store for you. So what could be coming up on the Professor Shadow channel? What tales could we be brewing just for you? So don't forget to, it helps if I get my chat up. Don't forget to let me know that you're here today. I'd love to see you, love to say hi. So who do we have on? Do we have anyone on this evening? Don't forget, give me a good shout, say hi, where you're from in the chat, so I know where we're coming from. Okay, good. I'm ready. Are you ready is the question. So what do we do this week? So I was super busy this week in the beginning of the week, which is, why did I only put the trailer out, I believe. Share my screen with you. You know what I'm talking about. So I put out this week, not these ones. Yeah, so this was the last one. I put this out on Sunday, and then I did the, as usual, when we have a series of tales, it's great to put them all together so that everyone has them in one place. Some people like to listen to the whole thing for a longer length of time. We're doing this thing in the I'm doing this thing in the members area for Winter's Tales. If you've seen that, great. I did the trailer. So what happened? I was watching. What was I watching? I was watching some TV program on satellite TV, and they were doing this paranormal investigation. I just saw that they go, "Oh, look at this clip," and it had a foggy, shadowy figure go across, and I'm like, "This is something." I thought, "Oh, wouldn't that be great if that actually was real?" So I created the trailer, messed around with the story. I was already doing the Call of the Moon already, and started to divert in that direction. And I feel it came out really well. I truly enjoyed that. It was a great werewolf tale with a little bit of mystery and a little bit of not sure what's happening next. So I did enjoy that tale. So I managed to get the trailer out, and then I managed to do this long story. It was over an hour long. I didn't realize it was going to go so long, but I needed to put so much into it. And it came out just over an hour and 6 minutes. But I got in everything I wanted to do. So that was truly a great tale. If you enjoy werewolf tales, lichen tales, then this is for you, because it's so good, so interesting. It gives that little bit of a scare in there, a little bit of mystery. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and watch. In here it's called Werewolf's Revenge, but it is Call of the Moon. And let me know if you enjoyed it, because that's why we're doing these things. And I had someone mention about what if. So I already had an idea. I had an idea of a follow-up for the Call of the Moon, or on there it's called Revenge of the Werewolf, for a follow-up already. And someone mentioned, what if the witch came back? That would be an interesting concept, because then you'd have a battle between a witch and a werewolf, and that would be an insane battle. So I thought about that. Of course, there's got to be a way to get the witch back, which I do have in mind. And so there's something I'm thinking about. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it's working in the drafting board right now. So that could be an interesting story, I think. the witch comes back somehow and has to try and take the werewolf down. Will she be able to do it, or will the werewolf be too powerful this time, once bitten, and all that type of thing? So that was an interesting idea. So thank you for that idea, as mentioned me. So that's one of the stories that I'm going to be doing, is a follow-up to Revenge of the Werewolf. It'll be in maybe 2 or 3 days, midweek. Be looking out for that. I have a couple of ideas, but I'm not sure I'm going to tell you. I'm not sure I'm going to tell you because I don't want to spoil everything. So we have some great stories in the draft. Good evening. Sachin is on. Welcome to you. Thank you for joining me. So I don't talk on my own all night again. And I was just mentioning how the Revenge of the Werewolf, that's a title on YouTube, the story is called Call of the Moon, is out, and how I'm thinking of doing a follow-up to that tale, because it was actually really, it was a little bit different to what I normally do, but it was really good and actually quite spooky. I thought it was quite spooky. So yes, I enjoyed doing that tale. So let's go in that direction where we're creating these tales of lichen, vampires, undead, whatever creatures we do up, but bring back that spookiness instead of just have it as an action and gore. Bring back that mystery and etc. And that's what we're trying to do. And I think I touched on that in Call of the Moon. So make sure you go and watch that. Let me know what you think. Shadow Realm should have a potion shop that is run by a man. That would end up becoming Father Time. So he could extend people's lives. Shadow Realm potion shop should be like like the shop where Peter Cushing was in From Beyond the Grave, and he was the antique store. People have to go in and get the potions, and if they're good, it's a good potion. But if they try and con them, or they're somehow done something wrong, then the potion turns bad. That'd be that's a great tale. That's a great tale. I actually really like that idea. That would be really good. That would be a good story. I'm going to write that down. Bear with me 1 second. All right, back to reality. Thank you, Crystal, for that. I like that. One of my favorite movies, Beyond the Grave. How can I put my own input? That's a great idea, isn't it? That's a great idea. So yes, good. That's good. And that could tie into the Shadow Realm as well. So yes, that could be interesting. We'll see where we can go with that. I like to get an idea. So I have an idea. So for example, the Call of the Moon idea. So I knew I wanted to do another werewolf story, and I knew that I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it a bit dark, mysterious, a bit of horror, real horror, original horror in there, not gore and not special effects or action wise. I want it to be original horror. So I was racking my brains, and how I like to do it, sometimes I go for a nice walk, or actually go to the gym and work out, or go for a walk and just let the endorphins take over, and sort of push the blood around the brain to help me, and then these ideas just come. And with the Call of the Moon, like I say, I was just literally watching some paranormal show on TV, and someone got out. There was this paranormal group sitting around a table, and they got this little video thing out and showed a very blurry image of something. I can't remember what it was, but for me, that was like, what if that was now the werewolf, and we could create a story around that? And then, why would the werewolf not just be roaming? Because he can't. Otherwise, they'd have seen him by now. Why can't they see him yet? properly. He needs to escape, and then I'm going too much in case you haven't watched it yet, but it all fell into place really nicely. Museum in the Shadow Realm. That's good and bad creatures turn in artifacts or future. Yeah, sort of like a bank. So they have a vault, so they can give in their own artifacts of power for the next generation. What if the museum was run by like a faith-based warrior that protects humans and supernatural beings? The Knights of Light, of Shadows, Knights of Winter. Yes, I still really like the potion idea. I think that's going to become something. That's going to be something. I really like that idea. Knights of Winter. So, in whenever you have like the main character or the bad character, and there were, I think in Star Wars, and he had Kylo Ren, and he had the Knights of Ren, Knights of Winter. That would be that way we can have knights characters, the supernatural and humans come together. I'd like to do one. I think what's quite spooky in my mind is where you have the knight, like Saruman. Is it Saruman from Lord of the Rings? You see the armor. That's what I'm trying to get out. You see the armor, but you don't see what's inside it. I think that gets inside you a little bit. So something like that would be interesting. That's like how I like to work, is find a thing that seems creepy, that gets inside your head. For me, that would be a strange thing. It's like the wolf one I just did. Yeah, like the Nazgul. You can see the armor, but you don't know what's in it, because that could be like a ghosty type monster, supernatural. Yeah, I think that's like, that has something that gets inside your head. King Arthur, or like knights that were buried in the mountain, like Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And so like there's I did one already. It's like it was on Merlin, and they have these people go in and they're looking for relics and stuff in this old ancient cave, and they find it's the cave of Merlin, and obviously he comes back and he's not actually a nice guy. I did this one, so something similar. They find this. These archaeologists find this place, and these ghostly, spiritual, spectral, ethereal creatures are awakened from their slumber. It's what they do. I tell you what's stuck in my head from a child. There's a movie. The movie's actually quite good. What's it called? I think it's called Creeping Flesh. I think it's an Amicus film. It does have Peter Cushing in it. The film is okay, but there's one part in it which is stuck in my head for my entire life, and that is the unleashing of evil into the world. So in the end of that, they find this old skeleton, and rain goes on it and it becomes alive earlier than it should, and it's like the pure evil, and it's the apocalypse. And I think the idea of seeing that it's created, it's powerful, it's evil, and it's let loose into the world. And what that does, now it plays on your own imagination. What's it going to do? A lot of my stories will try and end similar. What's it going to do? Because I don't think we should have it written for us. I think the worst story, terror, horror, is what we think it's going to be. So for me, that's one that stuck in my head for many years. I watched it as a child, and The Creeping Flesh with Peter Cushing, and he unleashes evil onto the world, and just that image of the character, this big tall thing in a cloak, walking off into the distance, and in your mind you're thinking, what is it? What's he going to do? And you imagine all types of things start to come to your imagination. So yes, I think that's a good one. I mean, I obviously used a bit of that in the end of my latest one. You see the wolf going off. I use it quite a lot. I think it's such a great thing to leave it to the imagination. And I have been watching some movies lately. So I've been on YouTube and put in old black and white horror and sci-fi. And last night I watched this movie called The Slime People. It was great. It was great. It was terrible, but it was great. Great fun. I like to watch them because they always give me great ideas. For me, the old black and white movies are absolutely the best, my favorites. And because of that, they all leave you to use your imagination. One of the greatest ones of all time is Night of the Demon, where it really plays on your own imagination as to what the demon is, or when's it coming, where is it. Such a great movie. So that's where I wanted to go with these stories. Like, work on imagine and don't give too much, but let the viewer engage their own imagination into the story. I think that's really important. I think today's films, shows, try to do it all for you. They try and give you everything you need. What exactly is it? What is it going to look like? Whereas I feel we really should. The worst place is our own imagination. So we're trying to leave that. Some of the story to our own imagination. What I. So, like I said, I have got a couple of other stories planned, but I don't want to give them away, to be honest with you. Now I have 3 planned because I have this potion idea, which I'm going to play with tomorrow. I'm going to play with that tomorrow. Let's see. Slime People. Yeah, it's on YouTube to watch. It's so fun. But yes, do have a watch. It's good. Well, good. I think it's so bad it's good. It's one of those ones. I love those films. What a great title, those Slime People. Isn't that amazing? The Slime People. And then the other day I watched The Incredible Melting Man. I say I watched it. There's parts I just couldn't watch. I had to skip through them a little bit. So I watched it within half an hour. I watched the whole hour and a half movie in half an hour. Because it's good and bad all at the same time. I watched it because that was at one of those video nasties, one of those banned movies back in the 80s. And it just popped up on my feed. And I thought, okay, I'll give that a watch. So see because some of these I do like some of these those 80s movies as well, because a lot of them have that. They do have that point where, how am I going to say this, where everything is it's in the imagination, but oh my god, yeah, that's going to take over, or that evil is too powerful for the world, that type of thing, and we don't quite see what it is. If you remember the film The Evil Dead, you never really saw it until the end, when it was a bit weird, but throughout the whole story you only saw the camera moving, which was great for the time. That was great. What was the other one that really, when they first brought out the Blair Witch Project, the whole film, you didn't see anything, but everyone was like, my goodness, it was a revelation because it was so different, and it left everything to imagination, which is why I think it worked so well. So yeah, I do like that. Have you watched the 1932 movie, The Most Dangerous Game? No, I haven't. I can definitely put that down to have a look at. Most Dangerous Game. I'll give that a look. I was thinking of rewatching Nosferatu, the original. It came up on my feed the other day, someone talking about it. And I was thinking of giving that another watch, because it's so atmospheric. So I'm probably going to give that another watch at some point. Talking of older movies. A haunted radio station that tells scary stories to its listeners, who use its listeners' names and brings them to life. An experience worth listening to. Not to die for. Listeners to bring them to life. So that people they call in, and if the channel picks their name, then some story goes in for what they're going to do. Similar to the old Amicus movies, isn't it? That'll be interesting. I bet it's on YouTube, the original Nosferatu. Yeah, I actually have it on Blu-ray, believe it or not. I actually have it, and I need to watch it. So I need to watch that. I had it on the original DVD, which was better than the Blu-ray. The original DVD was better than the Blu-ray. I still have it because it has all the extras. I don't think the Blu-ray had all the extras on it. I can't remember. I think that's Nosferatu, where the original DVD was packed with so many extras, but then the Blu-ray came out, and the quality wasn't that much better, but it didn't have all the extras, so... Yeah, I think I'm going to give that a watch, Nosferatu. I'm going to have a look for that. So when I was out, I came back a week and a bit ago, 2 weeks now, from my holiday or vacation, and we went around a little bit. I went to Orlando, but I have friends over there, so I met a few friends. And we was talking about, went over to Universal. I was talking about Universal and how they're introducing, I spoke about this before, their dark universe. So they're going to be building the actual set of Frankenstein, the original. So you can walk down the street, and the roller coaster is called the Wolfman. And they all sound great, but one of the things that really interested me was there's a place, I'm not sure if it's a show or a ride or something, but you go in there and it's got all of the older Universal monsters in there. and it's like a ride or something. They're describing it, but it's run by Victoria Frankenstein, and it's like and you get to see all the original Universal monsters. I think that would be so good. That's going to be so amazing, so amazing. The radio station called Storm Stories. That's delightfully dead for one unless you listen. ZP instead of AM or PM. It's midnight to 4:30. I think you know what I think would be great. Would be great. I had a friend once, not so long ago, and he came up to me one day, and he had this recorder. It was when you had the old cassette players. You played it, and he was listening to this show on the radio, like it was about EVP, and he's like, Steve, look, do. He pressed it, and it starts to talk the show, and in the background you heard this like whisper, hey, yeah, something like that. I can't remember if it said his name. I think it said his name. And he's like, this is real. I was like, oh, come on, it's not real. It's like, I don't know. I think the radio's done that. I think they've done that somehow, and I don't know if it was his name. I can't remember. What if the radio show, only certain people will hear the EVP on their channel, on their radio, on their computer, through their TV channel? Whatever, only certain people, and the people that hear it, something's going to happen to them. If they're a good person, they manage to get through it. But if they've been cheating somehow, then it goes wrong for them. That'd be That'll be interesting. It has a spooky song that starts it. A spooky song. Yeah, I like that. We spoke about this before, didn't we? About how there's that movie out. I never did rewatch it. White Noise, and someone, the person's, I think it's the person's wife dies, and he hears EVP voices coming through. But I really love that movie because that was another imagination movie. That was so good. That's why I liked it, because you hear all these voices come through, and he starts investigating, finds out other people are hearing it, and then it's not that, it's like these beings are coming through, and when they come through, that's sort of at the end, and you don't know what's happened, and it's like it's up to you, and so you're constantly thinking, what actually happened? What did they do? This? Did they do that? So that was a really great one. So that whole like EVP thing, that gets in there. I think that gets in there. Most people inherently want good people to win and evil people to be punished. So yes, that's the state of thing. I mean, when we go back to some stories I did before, predominantly, no one survives. I follow in the footsteps of the older horror movies, where the supernatural is too powerful, and but now, I mean, like I don't know, I can't really say because you haven't watched it, but the last one, we go there as well. It helps good listeners become better on their weaknesses, and bad people learn wrong. So imagine if look, you tie it in. You have the radio station. It plays. It's a niche radio station that people tune into, and certain people will hear an EVP message, and they have to do something. Maybe it's to redeem themselves. Those that don't redeem themselves are in trouble, but those that do manage to get through, and now they're better people because, you know, maybe they've all done something bad, but there's a chance for all of us. Because I think there should be a chance for all of us, because who we are today is not who we need to be tomorrow. What if I was the host of it? Professor Shadow Radio. If you hear the message that only you hear, you must complete your task, or leave it. It's your choice, but choose wisely, for the consequences could be dire. And then you could have so you could have 4 or 5 short little stories that accompany the whole thing. One person did bad somehow, and they have to try and rectify it. Maybe they just don't care, and something happens to them. Someone else tries to rectify it, but they don't get it right. Someone tries to rectify it, but they don't really care. But the last person is inherently good and wants to make amends for the wrongs that they've done, and he does it, and he survives. That would be interesting. That would be a good tale. I like that idea. I like that idea as well. The radio station. The haunted airwaves. Something like this. I think that'd be great. That way, I would be able to get in all those little stories that I'd really like to tell, but I know probably wouldn't do so well on their own. But maybe all together they can work. We shall see. I have like I said, I do have a couple of projects I'm working on. But yes, I'm definitely going to put that one down as well. I like that idea. I like the potion idea, and I like that idea. Incidentally, they're a similar idea. So therefore, if it was 4 people in each one, I'd be able to get 8 stories out in just two tales. That'd be interesting. Because I do like the tale. I do like the twist. And it doesn't always have to be the werewolf or the vampire or the undead. I do like the ones with where you don't really know what it is. You don't really know what it is. I did one of my favorite ones. 2 of my favorite stories on here. One of them was the model village one. For me, this was just the perfect. It was about a guy buys a model village, a model village enthusiast, and he buys the model village. But there's a strange character. And sometimes he looks and he notices the character isn't there. And somebody's back or it's moved. And strange things start happening to him. And all switches around and things happen. And in the end, he's in the model village. And the character is alive, huge in comparison to him, because he's now small. and takes his place. It does give you an idea of why, but it doesn't tell you exactly why. I love the ideas. So you have to rack your own brain, and it's like, oh, what if this? Because we all have the scariest tale in our own mind. That's the scariest place, is our own imagination. Like I say, films like Night of the Demon, for example, it's just a classic. You can watch that, and you know, as long as you're into it, your mind will go a million miles an hour. I think it's a great movie. And like I said, the example of the Creeping Flesh movie, at the end, you see the evil character walking off. You're like, what's he going to do? What powers does he have? How can he affect the whole world? He's just a man in an old cloak. But you realize he is really evil, so he must have some power. And you're in your head, you're thinking, what is it? So you come up with all these ideas. Great. That is good. So we have a couple of ideas. Thank you so much again for stirring the idea pot and kicking ideas around on a Sunday night in the shadows. We appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I have one every day. It's vitamin C and zinc. It's one of them. You chuck it in the water and it just tastes like an orange drink. Try and have one every night. So you got enough vitamin C within you. You got to think where we are here in the UK. It's not actually cold at the minute, but this month, the end of this month, it starts to get cold. Starts to rain, wind, and everyone starts to get flus and colds. So of course, with vitamin C and your zinc, that's hopefully helping boost your immune system. But I have one every day because I just like it. It's good. So what else are we going to get up to? What else we've been up to? I see I have a couple of other people on here. If you're watching, just give us a shout and let us know where you're watching from. It's great to try and interact and know where we're coming from. If you certain stories you'd like to see continued, or something you want to talk about, then throw it in the chat. I'd love to say hi to you. I'd love to speak to you. And if there's any questions on any of the videos that are coming or have been, and you'd like some answers, you can throw it in the chat, and I will do my very best to try and answer you. Some I don't answer. Like, for example, let me give you the one I never answer, but I'm going to answer for you. So in the story where we have Elder and Sarana, so they both are vampire type creatures, and they drink. Sarana turns young and looks really amazing, whereas Elder always stays old. What's the reason for that? Number one, I really wanted Sarana to be attractive. But when I looked at Elder, I really wanted him to have gone through so much pain that he couldn't regain that youth. That's why he's so strong as who he was. Hey, hello from the USA, Maitland, Missouri. Oh, hello there, Shelley. Welcome to the feed. We just chat. We come on here on a Sunday night and I let you know what's coming up. I let you know what we're doing. We have Crystal always giving us a bunch of ideas. We have Sachin always on here helping out. And we go through so many ideas on here. We probably could have filled another 100 tales by now with the amount we've gone through. But there's only so much time that I have to create. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do my best. I definitely do my best. It's one of those things. I've done a story channel before, and since I was a young boy, I've always watched, been involved with watching horror movies and reading horror books, and I've always had that idea that I want to create my own, but never had the opportunity. And of course, YouTube gives you the opportunity to create your own. If you're a creative person, you just go on and create your own stuff and put it out there, and hopefully people that enjoy. And people ask me, do you put stories out for other people to enjoy? Yes and no. I put stories out that I enjoy, and hopefully people that are like me and enjoy watching I do will also. So I'm a very selfish reason for doing this. I enjoy the tales that I create, and hopefully if I enjoy it so much, I put it out there and other people enjoy what I enjoy. I got Harry, evening and greetings from Finland. Hello, welcome from Finland. So great to see you. Of course, we have people all over. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's a very informal live. We spread some ideas around. We talk about what's coming up, what we're going to try and do. A tale of fairies. They help humans. Earth and supernatural with humans. They help create love between people, make the environment better. Supernatural. They are sidekicks. Yeah, so they could help people, but secretly they are draining the life from people because they need this to sustain their own life force, and then they get found out. Please share your thoughts. Yes, if you have ideas, if you'd like to see something in the future, throw it down. I've already put 2 ideas in just from today's live, so we could see those coming up. Well, there is something like that, isn't there, Crystal? There's already something like that where they're like these. They're like these little fairy creatures, and they seem really nice, but they're not. And then they turn and they got like teeth and stuff. I don't know if you've seen that. For the life of me, I can't think what it is. I can't think what that is. Nope, can't remember. Wasn't that? I think it was like on Hellboy or something like that. Hellboy 2. There's these little things. They look really nice. That's it. Yeah, they're flying around. They're like, they're like little pixies or something. They turn around and got these big teeth. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing for nothing. Nothing for nothing in this world. I remember many years ago, I have 2 brothers. I'm in the middle, and me and my older brother, we had the little, before video camera, before your phones, we used to have this cine, you could film on your cine camera. And we went over to this, like, it was all dark and the moon was shining. We filmed like the shadow walking along and trying to make it scary and stuff like that. That was good. So that was probably the start of everything. Probably the start of the Professor Shadow channel. I don't have that anymore. I lost everything many years ago. All my majority of this old stuff was lost, but I have the memory. That's the other thing. I went on vacation, on holiday, for just under 3 weeks, and I went to Disney World, Universal, went over to Tampa. We went over to Merritt Island. So it's got friends around. And whenever you go to these big parks, everybody is walking around with their phone in front of their face. Instead of actually looking. A couple of times I left my phone deliberately in the hotel because I wanted to experience. And whenever you go there, they're like, you can see where George A. Romero, when he made Dawn of the Dead, he said he based it around people walking around in the mall because they walked around in a daze like zombies. We definitely see that today because they're on their phone. They'll stop in the middle of all these people behind them. There's a big show going on, like the fireworks, and they're watching their world view through this size of a lens instead of putting it down and seeing the whole world view. Because if I want to watch it again, I can just come to YouTube and watch it in 4K. So that was interesting. Anyway, leprechauns, they do deals with a family member, but they have to serve them for generations. The payment. There's always the payment. Love that idea. Love the idea of the payment. There's what one is it? So there's an Amicus movie, and it's one with like 4 or 5 tales on it, and one of them is about a witch's cat. It's about a witch's cat, and it has to take pay. It leaves gold if the person kills people for it. This seems really cheesy, but the actual movie, that story, I really, again, it's one of them stories that stick in your head. I watched this when I was like 10 years old. I've obviously watched it quite a few times since, but that's a really good one. That's the payment. Don't touch the gold. Yes, don't take the payment. They Live. I have seen They Live with the amazing Rowdy Roddy Piper. Yes. Rest in peace, Rowdy Roddy. What a character. That was a great movie as well, and it was like it's a very underrated movie. I mean, obviously it's so cheesy, but it's so good as well. And that's what makes it good, is the cheese. But yeah, the underlying message is it's almost like the Matrix, and we're living in a false world. Yeah, definitely seen They Live. Great film. What's the line? I've come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And right now, I'm all out of bubblegum. What an amazing line. John Carpenter must have been in hysterics when he wrote that. Can you imagine Rowdy Piper, how many times he must have done that line? That would have been so amazing. And Lauren Jones is on. Great to see you live here. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's great to see you all. Can we just come on for a general chat? It's not like we have to do anything. We're just enjoying ourselves and talking. What if the phone was like the sun? What if he could? Yeah. What if you, or the potion, the phone or the potion, the EVP message or the potion is like, you're able to see if you complete the task, you see reality. I love that line. I'm all out of bubblegum. Yeah, that's so good. But the character of Rowdy Piper, can you imagine him delivering that line in front of the camera. He must have been in hysterics. That must have been an amazing time. Must have been. Great character. What a character, Rowdy Roddy Piper. And the thing is, it's actually a really great movie as well. It's a really good movie. Really good movie. I think he did really well in that. Did really well. But it is on the lines of The Matrix, isn't it? It's like, you know, only certain people can see. It's like, you know, I suppose Rowdy Piper is Neo. He doesn't get his power, but it's along them lines. Along them lines. The Matrix, again, another great movie. Great movie. Way ahead of its time. And that, I think the second and the third ones were good. But if they'd have left the first one, that would have been that imagination for you. In the second and third one, of course, we understand it's about franchise and money, but the second and third one tried to describe to you what would go on, whereas when it ends on the first one, it's your imagination about what's going on. That's a great thing. What if a magic mirror shows your soul? So if you're mean, you have an ugly soul. And you have to redeem yourself somehow. You have to redeem yourself by going to the potion shop. The film, I know that it's not a horror movie, but I can't even think what it is. What's the name of that movie? I think it's got Gwyneth Paltrow in it, and the guy sees people how they really are. So like he sees this woman who you see as really nice, but when he sees her as all ugly. And, yeah. I can't remember what that movie's called. But that's someone else seeing people. Again, similar. Just to have it where somehow, like I say, the mirror, the potion, the message gives you the ability to see, gives you the ability to see the evil souls in the world. And it's your job to take them out. How would we do? How would we do against supernatural? It would be terrible, wouldn't we? It would be terrible. Lock us in a room with, for example, a werewolf. As humans, we're quite weak. There's only when we band together. What we're good at is we're about creating organization and working together, which makes strength. How about a story of dragons? So there we can move into the mythology. I've been thinking about doing something mythological. My daughter plays on the Xbox, and there's this game called Age of Mythology, and it was going over all like the Greek and the Egyptian and the Norse mythology, and it was going all over these different things. And I'm watching it because I'm thinking, these are great, because I used a bit of Norse mythology in the first the Master series, and to watch some of them creatures they have on there are crazy. So yes, definitely think about doing some mythological creatures. You mean Shallow Hal? Yes, I think that's it. That's the one. Yes, thank you. Or he's mean unless you. Yeah, that's the one for sure. Yeah, so instead of seeing people on their inside, they're able to see the evil people. Yeah, I like that. I think the problem with a dragon is too powerful. The only person that could possibly take down the dragon is going to be Winter. So, dragon versus werewolf. I don't think it's much of a challenge for the dragon. Elder versus the dragon. Yeah, there's maybe like a dragon type species, a dragon race, a race of dragon people. How about that? How about that? So instead of like where people see Bigfoot hiding out, there's stories of a race of people who are actually descendants of dragons. They're not dragons. Dragons are too powerful. But they're a descendant of dragon. They have some power of the dragon. It could be an interesting concept to introduce. What if a dragon is a cursed supernatural being? Who turns into the dragon? The thing is, how do you defeat a dragon? How do you in reality? I mean, there's no hope for the alpha to defeat a dragon. It'd be impossible. A dragon species, dragon type creatures somehow. Dragon can only live on a cold mountain and have frozen zombies that protect them. But what would you do once you got to it? How would you defeat it? It's like sort of having Godzilla in there or something. But of course, there's no dragons. So maybe the descendants, a species, or maybe dragons come in to save the vampires. Good dragon, evil dragon, yes. So like Game of Thrones, you have that dragon that turned into an undead dragon. That'd be very cool. But of course, I think Winter would somehow find a way to do it. Just so massive dragon. I think maybe even the dragon race. What about if dragons did exist, but they don't exist anymore? But someone was able to harness the power of the dragon some way and then use that power for themselves. Can't fly a long period of time. Yeah. I think the dragon is the ultimate mythological beast, isn't it? So huge, breathes fire, flies. Stopping one would be a challenge. So in the Crimson Dawn, we had the giant, werewolf, huge werewolf, treading on buildings, and the only way it got stopped was because it overwhelmed with creatures of undeath. Just millions of them climbing up it to destroy it. So I suppose it's possible. The thing with introducing the dragon as well is I wouldn't want to go too mythological. I'd always want to keep it that horror aspect. So I'd have to do it somehow that there's a great movie called Night of the Eagle. I know it's not a dragon, but they summon like the power of the eagle, giant eagle, that type of thing, through witchcraft. So what if somehow for a warlock or a witch was able to summon the power of an evil dragon to take down his enemies, her enemies? So the giant vampire too, right? Yes, Azrael. We are not finished with him yet. We have some plans for him, but we're not doing it. We have plans for we have the Dr. Thorne saga, which will tie in with Azrael, but I'm not working on it right now. Not working because I've got other things I want to introduce to build up to this. It's going to be a while before we see those, but yes, we do have plans for these two. We do have plans for these two. It's coming at some point, but right now I am focused on you've probably seen I've been trying to introduce newer characters into the universe. What if ginger people have dragon blood in them? Excellent. Wasn't it when they did that, who did that Dracula movie, and they say just descendant from the dragon or something, wasn't it? I can't remember what it is. What's that? I can't remember. So he had dragon armor. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I wouldn't want to see it go into like too much mythology. I always want to keep it into the horror the era of horror, because I do like that mysterious imagination, power of good and evil. But definitely I think some way with the dragon of similar to Night of the Eagle, where the witch is able to summon the power of this giant eagle or a dragon somehow. That could work. The one with Charles Dance in the cave. No, I don't know if is that the one. I'm not sure. I think it might be the one with Gary Oldman. And they say he's like got the dragon armor or something. I like that one with Dracula. Yeah, the one where the guys in the old original vampires in the cave. I love that part. That was my favorite part. I could watch that bit over and over. I like that a lot, because they did something that I really enjoy. Is they showed the vampire not as the handsome, erotic gentleman, as the parasite, wasting away in a cave. That I loved that. That was that for me. That was like the pure. So that's what Dracula is, isn't it? When you read the book of Dracula, it's like old, looks way older and parasitic. Yes, I think that's horror, isn't it? That gets in your head. I think you wouldn't want someone like Nosferatu coming after you. Someone that doesn't look too bad, is not look like quite handsome or quite attractive, is it's not actually that bad. Going to kill you, but the ice cream man. Well, the ice cream man, I can try kidnaps people for supernatural powers. Like the child catcher. Kidnaps people. Yes, a Dracula that actually scares you. Yes, definitely. I think the original, I mean, Bela Lugosi, the original ones, Bela Lugosi, for their day, they were great. And then they had Hammer Horror come in with Horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee as Dracula, which was great again. But from there, I think they got too much like using powers of attraction. Yeah, I like the idea. I mean, if you're a vampire, you're living off another person's blood. You're a parasite, parasitic, ancient and evil. Yeah, I think they're supposedly making a part 2 of that movie. So that should be, because in the end of that movie, the Dracula one where he's in the cave, it ends with the guy at a table, and you see that original vampire sitting at another table. Clowns pop out. A supernatural truck at night, and clowns pop out. What's that one clown? Is it just called Clowns or Night of the Clowns or something? Can't remember what it's called. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. My goodness. So it haunts you and tries to pull you into the truck. Some people are really scared of clowns. Some people are so terrified of clowns. I don't think the series It, or the movie It, did them any favors. Clowns, they got a bad rap. But yeah, some people are very terrified of clowns. The clown vampires. Killer Clowns from Outer Space was incredible. What a great film. My goodness. I think it became a bit of a cult film as well. Killer Clowns. I think I've actually got that on DVD. I do believe I have it. I have to look for that. I think you can probably watch it on YouTube. What if a theme park is haunted? Love that idea. Love that idea. There's an old Twilight Zone series. There's an old Twilight Zone episode. I think it's Twilight Zone or The Outer Limits. And guy, he didn't realize he's had an accident, and he keeps going back to this fairground, and he sees this young kid all the time sort of haunting him, but it's actually him from the past. Oh my god, that was a great episode. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a great episode. It needs souls to survive and create more rides. Yeah, the haunted theme park, because that's a place where you go for joy and then suddenly it's turned into fear. There's a Goosebumps story on a haunted theme park too, right? Okay. Is a voodoo priest. The people that come in and go into the certain ride, they're not seen again. And what he's doing, he's taking them because he wants them for their souls. He wants them to be his slave zombies. And all of the people that work in the theme park seem to have a vacant look in their eyes, because they are the voodoo priest zombies. And he's looking for new employees. apply within. I think the voodoo idea is another one that's one of my, again, it's when we say our favorite movies, they're nostalgic movies, the films that have stuck in your head for a reason at the time. They either consoled you, scared you, or did something and made you think, and they really got stuck in there. And one for me is, I mentioned it before, is I Walked with a Zombie, and there is really no horror in it whatsoever, but the atmosphere of the movie is so good. I walked with just the title, I Walked with a Zombie. What a title. And there's voodoo. You hear the drums, and then there's this big tall like zombie guy like walking up to people and scaring stuff. Yeah, it's such a great atmospheric film. And the other one, though it's not voodoo, but it's very atmospheric, is Cat People. If you've seen Cat People, and then is it Curse of the Cat People and Return of the Cat People? Yeah, Curse of the Cat People with Simone. It's incredible. There's one part in that whole movie. It's a very famous part, and it's where she's walking. This woman's walking, and it's shadowy everywhere, dark, and of course in black and white, so it's so amazing. And you know, she hears this like panther, and sees shadows, and then it gets all like really intense, and all of a sudden a bus pulls up and scares the hell out of you. That is worth watching the movie just for that scene. It's so good. Again, another movie I'm gonna have to rewatch. I've watched that for so long. I used to watch this quite a lot. This one. It's a very nostalgic movie. What if a parent lost a child in the theme park? All right, so like somehow wiping out the belief that the child exists. No one believes you. Only you have the memory, because the power of the voodoo has wiped everyone's mind and somehow erased reality that the child existed. Sort of like what Doctor Strange did to Spider-Man. It made everyone forget who Spider-Man was. Yeah, so where was I? The Curse of the Cat People. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. It's probably on YouTube. It's probably on YouTube. Yes, there's definitely a fear of all parents to have their child go missing, especially if no one now recognizes that the child ever existed. It would be definitely a psychological fear. Right. So my recommendations, if you haven't seen them, what did I go over? Curse of the Cat People, Return of the Cat People. I did mention I didn't recommend it, but I did say I'd watch the Slime People. So if you want to watch the Slime People, go ahead and watch that. I watched it. It's a fun movie. If you haven't watched Night of the Demon, Dana Andrews, you need to watch that movie. And of course, any Amicus movie whatsoever. So they're going to be my recommendations for this week. And maybe Nosferatu. So I'm going to dig out and try and watch. And on this note, my friends, I am going to have to head off. Didn't realise, no, quarter past 8 already here in the United Kingdom. And on that note, I'd love to, number one, thank you for joining me this evening. It's been a great brain buster and a big pot of ideas. So I'd love to thank you for, especially Crystal, for all the ideas you always throw at me. He wants to end up traveling in the past to save his bloodline so he could be born in the 80s. Yes, they're great films. Oh, and if you haven't seen it, the I Walked with a Zombie. There's no horror in it whatsoever, but it's an atmospheric movie. It's really great to watch. Same as Curse of the Cat People with Simone. Fantastic, absolutely. They're so good. I feel like I want to sit and watch them right now. I want to watch them right now. To save crime, he ends up traveling the past, save his bloodline so he could be born in the 1980s. He learns crime repeats itself, that solving cases helps. I remember it's Sunday. Yes, good. That's because I wasn't there for a couple of weeks. Because I wasn't there for a couple of weeks and then come back on again. But yes, I've got some good tales to get on. I'm specifically interested in doing, like I said, maybe following up the previous werewolf one I just did. I think that could be the next one. Because I've got some great ideas for it. So we're going to follow up with that next. Because it was so good. I really enjoyed the way it went. So what I need to do, I need to watch some of them films that I just mentioned to check out their atmosphere and try and recreate it into a story. Definitely want to do it. So thank you so much once again, my friends, for joining me this evening, helping me out so much, and letting me know your feedback and giving me ideas. I do truly appreciate it. And thank you for all of you that joined me and said hello. Appreciate that. But I'm going to be back this time next week. In the meantime, look out. I will put out 1 or 2 stories this week that you can have a look at, and hopefully you enjoy them. And on that note, I'd just like to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, she definitely has some great ideas. Definitely. On that note, my friends, thank you so much. I'm going to head off. Take care, and I will see you in the shadows next Sunday.